120 seconds. 110 seconds. 100 seconds. 90 seconds. 80 seconds. 70 seconds. 60 seconds. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, once again, it is indeed time to get our talk on. This morning talk with me, your host, J. Stan McCauley, along with the champions of talk. This morning, of course, talk champion Cleo Duke-Wright is in the house. So, let's get started with our Friday conversation. Miss Cleo, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good today.
How was your week?
Oh, it went well. It's a little quieter this week, so it was nice. Yeah.
All right. Any plans for the weekend?
No, not. I don't have too many plans for the weekend. Hopefully, it's gonna be pretty quiet, and I could just kind of stay home and just, I don't know, sit by the pool or, just maybe do a little shopping. That's it.
Now, you do know that this weekend is the Greater Hartford Festival of Jazz weekend. And,
now, I don't have that down. I carry my book with me all the time. I don't have that down.
It's that time of year again for the greatest jazz festival in the country.
You're talking about this weekend?
It started yesterday, Thursday night, and then it kicks off again tonight.
Oh,
then tomorrow night, and then it ends on Sunday. Free.
You usually talk
It's
about
a
that a
free
lot.
jazz festival. It's one of the best free jazz festivals in the country. And always top flight, great vendors, great entertainment, great musicians, great friends, great family, great time. Greater Hartford Festival of Jazz. Greatness. And people actually come here from all over the country. I would dare say from around the world.
Did you go last night?
I didn't go I went last night, but by the time I got there, it was over. So I didn't go. I attempted to go, but I had a lot of, we had over on Wyndham Street, we had a Wyndham Street forum. The residents of Wyndham Street invited me to come over and answer a series of hard questions. They were peppering me with questions about, if you become mayor, what will you do about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? There's this going on. There's that going on. What are you going to do about this? What about this? If I call you on the phone about this, what are you going to do about that? What's your answer? I mean, they were up. Yeah. Then I went to the airport meeting. Yeah. Over at the, there's an effort to close Brainerd Airport by the non-thinking.
And they're getting some headway on that?
Well, we don't know. There's a study being done. There's a study to analyze the study that said it should stay open. The last time this came up, they had a study, and the study said it should stay open. Then the city council tried some parliamentary moves to say that it should be closed, to kick off and initiate a discussion. Therefore, they would have another issue, and then it went before the state, and then that state said
they're paying
there should
these
be a
people
study.
for these studies, right?
I think this one's $1 million.
So they really want this airport closed, huh?
Someone wants it closed. Ain't me.
And they hired another different group of people.
Well, there's a consulting group. I think now I can almost guarantee you the airport. The report is going to say that the airport should stay open. That the best use of the airport is the airport. And here's my rationale and reasoning for why. Because the first study was thorough. If this study is different than the first study, then the real question is which study is the right study? Because it's like an accountant. The books are the books of the books.
That's
you
right.
go over the books, and the accountant signs off on the books. Then the second accountant comes and said, well, the first accountant was all wrong. The first accountant is going to say, hold up. You're not looking for marijuana or cocaine at the White House. This is a knowable thing. We can know that we know where this came from. It's not like Secret Service or anything.
So if it comes out with an opposite decision, then there's going to be a big debate. Which one in I can't say that word. What's happening here? Why are you getting different answers to the same problem? The same things are there that when we were there. What do you see that's different? That you should make the decision that you make.
Yeah.
That would be the big question.
That would be my question. I mean, what do you use? What is so different about this time that it renders a totally different analysis than the first time? Because the best use of an airport generally is as an airport. It's like trying to find out, should the washing machine continue to be used as a washing machine or as a refrigerator?
But you can keep on doing this. I've doing people. This person just popped up into my mind, that you keep on having the test, until you get to the person that tells you what you want to hear. So, and you go with that person. Keep testing until they say what you want them to say.
It's sort of like an interrogation. You don't let them get any sleep. You keep asking them the same question. Same question until they change the answer.
Yes. Or till they get so tired of seeing you, they say,
All right.
"Oh yes, yeah, do this." I know some parents who have done that to their children. Test them until this, someone says, "Oh, I don't want to see this woman or this man again." Yes, your child is a genius. Yes. So therefore, after they do that, after they say the child is a genius, then the child's life is hell all the way till push. That I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing.
Well, the last meeting, from what I understand, is August the 10th. August the 10th will be the next meeting, and that'll be from what I understand, that'll be the final one. And then I would imagine they'll render a decision sometime around September or so, and we'll see. Now, I would contend that the reason that the last report did not render a more productive asset from the airport than it already is because the agents of obstruction didn't do anything with it. It's like you don't believe there's oil in your backyard on your property. An analysis says that there's oil. But because you just reject the whole notion of extracting the oil from your yard, you don't do anything.
Right.
Then year 4 and year 8 go by, and you're like, well, the land still is not productive. We should use it for something else other than drilling for oil. Well, have you drilled for oil? No. Why not? Because we don't believe the report. So you say that it's for 8 years it has rendered no benefit. But you didn't do anything to really get the benefit out. You didn't do the marketing. You didn't find someone to drill the oil. So you
can say to the public, "Hey, this is a waste.
It's a waste.
We haven't done." Oh, gosh.
Right. I think we need to have another study. It's been 8 years. Nothing's happened here. It's not. It's
because you didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything.
Why didn't it happen? That should be the public's question.
The public's question should be, why didn't it have? The real report should be, why hasn't anything been done
about
since the first report to bring forth a profit from this property that is clearly a phenomenal piece of land in terms of airport.
You think people are getting, smarter or more attentive to things like that the manipulation of some people to the public and how they try to manipulate us in their speech and in the things that they do and the things that they show us, and they're showing us something because they have created that situation, and so they're showing us this and saying, see, but they all the time they created that for us to see. And expecting us to say, "Oh my goodness," and get rid of it. It's not doing anything, Let's just get rid of it instead of questioning the people who are telling us these things and saying, "Why are you saying this?" And wasn't there a report? And that report said what happened after you got the report. Instead of saying that. Lazy minds. I was reading about people who refuse to think. Lazy minds. We don't. A lot of us don't want to think.
That's interesting. Lazy minds. Because there's been, I think, thus saith Stan, not necessarily the truth. I think there's been an all-out attack on critical thinking. They don't want people to think.
I don't think so.
And people have kind of bought into that. I think you're right. Lazy. What do you say? Lazy think.
Lazy minds.
Lazy minds.
Lazy minds, and they, we just don't want to think. We don't want to think. We just want to just relax and just take it easy and just enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's life, and if we don't take an active part in life, we get what we get. And we get what the other guy wants, not what you need, but what the other guy.
Wow. So we can't. People can no longer afford to be lazy.
No.
People can no longer afford to have lazy minds.
Yes.
You have to exercise your mind by using it, thinking, asking questions, and being critical. Ask the hard question. I don't see why anyone that's in a position of leadership or authority would mind the tough questions. I need to rephrase the statement, I guess. I understand why somebody may not want to answer a tough question. However, the tough question should be answered because it doesn't, your answer, if it's honest and true, it is what it is. Because someone asks for that level of and depths of truth shouldn't change anything.
That's right.
I mean, you should be able to defend the reason why you're where you're at, unless the person who's in a position of leadership has a lazy mind. And they don't want to have to think about an answer.
That's right.
So therefore, they're
gonna make you suffer because you're thinking.
How dare you ask me a question like that? I'm in charge.
I remember I remember being in the OR one day, and the doctor came in. He had surgery, and I forgot what the surgery was, but that's not important. But he came in, and he said, just came into the room. We're all ready to start surgery. He says, "I'm in charge. I'm the boss. And he started ranting and raving about how he was in charge and how he was the boss. All we wanted him to do was get to the table and start the surgery and shut up. We're ready to go. So, but he was obsessed with, I am in charge. Probably before he left the house, he was not in charge. I don't know. But he came to that OR and he says, I'm in charge. I'm the boss. And I find that people who say that, just like that, don't feel like they're the boss. They don't feel like they're in charge. If you have to say that, you're not in charge.
You and I are absolutely on the same page.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because first of all, you're scared. You're scared. That's the first thing. If you have to say that and say it, you're scared. You're scared. Because I could remember Dad saying, I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man. I would look at him as a little child and say, well, anybody can see that. What are you talking about? I said, why is he saying that? Right. I would say to myself, why is he saying that? Everybody can see he's a man. So I didn't understand anything, but it was a time probably he was unsure of himself. He was nervous. He was scared, and he was probably talking more to himself than he was talking to anybody else. So when I see that kind of behavior, I always say, he's not in charge. He's scared.
Right. Scared. Insecure.
And
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And people will hurt you when they're in that kind of mood. They
become very dangerous.
Yes,
because they'll do whatever it takes to assert their authority and power, just for the sake of everyone letting up. But that's a huge sign of insecurity.
Yes,
I mean, the chair has all the power, and quite frankly, the position has the power, or what we refer to as the chair. It's not the person in the chair. It's the chair. So whoever occupies the chair or the position is the person with the authority.
And if you followed a bunch of rules all your whole life and you have not changed them and you have not grown and this is just what it is and what you do, if somebody comes up with an idea and people kind of turn and change and say, well, maybe that's, he's got a point there, you're going after that person because he's messing with your authority. He's messing with your thoughts. And where are you going to go? You've been thinking this way all your life. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? So dangerous.
Yeah, those are danger signs that the followers should take immediate note of. Because the leader doesn't lead necessarily because he or she wants to be the leader. The leader is only a leader as long as the people who follow the leader choose to do so. When they're tired of that person,
that's it.
That's it. You can't. You're not a leader because you say you are. You're a leader because there are those who choose to follow you. Which is why leadership is such a rare thing, and so many institutions or operations don't have leaders. They have managers. Because the managers, best policies, practices, and procedures. The manual says on page 3 that I'm in charge. And so then you manage, because then you don't have to worry about people following. Because followers can get up and leave you in a heartbeat.
That's right. Absolutely right.
And on the battlefield, they might, the commander on the battlefield might run into some issues.
And don't have the thing that people are looking to you for the answers and not to them. Mm-hmm. Because that's also a very dangerous place for you to be. Because they're coming after you. Nothing has changed since the crucifixion. There's
nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. I've said over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
When do you stop wanting? Well, I was reading William Barclay, The Parables of Jesus, this week, and it gave me my answer. It says, you don't ever stop wanting. You don't ever stop growing. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep on going, or we'd still be in caves. We wouldn't have the wheel. We wouldn't if things sort of stayed the same. It is part of life to want and to wonder and to keep on going. Things are not supposed to stay the same. So that's why I really dug into those things that I was nervous about what's happening today. I said, that's right. I got to catch up. I went crazy. I got to catch up because that is right. We keep going. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And, when I was in church this Sunday, the pastor said that our denomination made a big mistake when, he didn't quite say what he meant, but people kind of knew, at least I think, what he meant. To change and to open up the church, and then the church went right down. Well, probably it was supposed to go right down. And so it could grow up, go down to go up, So I'm saying, wait a minute. We got to have a discussion about what you're saying. But he is just so full of love, and he wants to help, and he wants, he's 80 years old. So there's only so far he could sort of go up to the times, because it's very difficult for me to keep up with this time and to keep up with the thinking of today.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's foreign. And so we kind of reject it sometimes. But we need to embrace it and understand it and see where it fits, in life. See where it really fits and where we can progress, not to just not understand it because it's here for some reason. I mean, all this is happening for some reason, and I think that the rejection. Now, this is all new thinking to me because, I want things to be like they were, but they can't be. They can't be.
Things do change.
Things change.
Things change. Things change.
And you either change with them or you get left.
You get left behind.
You get left behind, and also if you don't change with them, bad things could happen.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't change with the bad things could happen with the change of people who not wanting the best thing for the majority of the people.
You had talked about the wheel. It reminded me of a commercial. I think it first aired during one of the Super Bowls. You remember Larry? That there was a character, Larry. He went through time. He said, "Oh, that'll never work." And the wheel was what I got this thing. Oh, they brought it to him. He said, "What is that?" It's the wheel. That'll never work. Don't worry about that. Get rid of it. But there are those people who they're hostile to some change, and I think some change is not necessarily forward moving or forward thinking or good. There are some people that think that change means progress. So they'll make a change, but the change really doesn't do anything. So I think there's a natural change, and then there's, I think, the change that people try to instill, which, if you bring us back full circle, if you change the airport from being an airport, is it a change for the better? Some would say, if we follow what you're saying, that, well, change is good. We have to go along with the change. Some changes, I don't know, and I don't think it's necessarily being nostalgic or longing for the past. If it works, it works. I think best practices are still good.
If you keep the airport, there's going to be change because it has to grow. I mean, it's going to be change regardless.
Growth brings change.
Right. It's still going to change. It's not going to just stay there and do nothing unless that's what somebody wants. Unless that's what they actually do and want. So if there is no change, if they made that decision and there is absolutely no change, the question is, why is there no change? If you got the report that you said you needed, why is there no change? Because that's deliberate. That must be deliberate. Right?
Absolutely. Change is intentional, and so is standing in the way of change. Stick and stay. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. It's Morning Talk.
Oh yeah, we're back. Out riding around the city on the official campaign vehicle, keeping it real, of course. Bringing you the latest update, answering the biting question: where's Stan getting all his money? Last I heard, you can spend all the personal money you want on a campaign. So that's what we're doing. All right. If you think outside the box, if you really care about the people of Hartford, you find ways to be responsible and frugal with the money that you have. You see, we have really good people on our team. Our team members really, really love Hartford. They love what they do, and they're very good at it. So when you have the right team, you use the money that you have responsibly. Now, I've always made it a point to make the point that it doesn't take a lot of money to run an effective campaign. It takes innovation, it takes thinking, it takes creativity. And I think that's what you're seeing in the campaign that we have launched. And we're just getting started. Trust me when I tell you, we're just getting started right now. Okay? So you need lots of money if you're going to buy people. People are expensive. You have to buy them. You have to buy their integrity. And all of these things cost money. But with the original campaign vehicle, we were out and about, meeting and greeting people, talking to folks, letting them know about our 6-point plan, which you can check out at McCauleyformayor.com. All right? McCauleyformayor.com. Read about our path to impact. If you have questions, feel free to give me a call on my personal cell phone number, 860-944-9797. You can sit down, have a coffee. We can talk about why the incompetence that has been the hallmark of this city for the last several years, time has come, and how a new visionary leadership with the right people can bring Hartford to where it needs to be. All right? Requires your vote, though. And you gotta have some courage. Have the courage to vote your conscience. Vote J. Stan McCauley.
Hey, Hartford, Connecticut, I'm talking to you. We gotta get out and vote. Vote for Stan McCauley. It's our time. We gotta rise up and take it back. Vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. You gotta vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Oh yeah.
It's more to politics than just what your social covers. And it ain't somewhere written down in bold letters. Don't just take my word for it, do your research. Think of your future, look at your bigger picture. Shooting tie, clean up, unity for the righteous. Plotting on action, hands-on access. With a light source vision, door-to-door knocking. Guerrilla style marketing, brainstorm as a collective. Real neighborhood suggestions. Only we know what it is where we living. To make real life decisions. Move on facts, make it manifest back.
You gotta vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Oh yeah. Look at your city. Stop. Take a look around. Is opportunity flow into your house? Are you working? Wait, can you save some money? And is your neighborhood safe? Or is it a homicide every night? Vote for Stan McCauley. He is ready.
My name is Marlon E. Styler Sr. Many of you may know me as the two-time welterweight champion of the world. I'm here to tell you that Democrat J. Stan McCauley, as our next mayor, will fight for you until the last bell. Help me throw a knockout punch. Go out and vote for Stan the Man.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I approve this message.
Deluge, the incomparable, the one and only, the professor. Yeah, I can sit back and listen to this all day. This is a dangerous time right here. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that is lovely. This is the only CD I have in the car, so I play it all day. But I want to go. Oh, is it gonna rain tonight?
Yeah.
Today, it looks like it rained this morning too.
Jay Hogarth in studio recording. This was down in New Jersey. All right, that okay. I'll get all caught up in listening to Jay's music off this album. We have guests come on, and they're just blown away. The guest on Monday was saying, I just wanted to listen to the music because when we come on the air, we always we talk over the music bed, and so the guest is listening to either us or the music. So, he's phenomenal. That's him on. This is Jay right there on vibraphone.
Does he live in Hartford?
He's in Middletown. Oh. He's the head of the music department.
I love Middletown.
At Wesleyan.
Wesleyan, yes.
Yeah,
I love downtown Middletown.
Professor.
They had this great recovery program. I used to send people to Middletown for recovery. And more people recovered or started a productive life going to Middletown than anywhere else that I tried to send them, So I was always kind of like in Middletown for their wonderful work that they did. I don't know how it is now. That was years ago, but
yeah, Middletown's nice. I don't know how they're faring right now with this flooding stuff. A lot of rain.
I know.
Flooding season, I guess. So now it's coming down river. All that stuff that was up in Vermont is just flowing down river, and now so Middletown's always had that issue right there around the dock. The restaurant get flooded out all the time. So I don't know.
Like our park does, like Riverside.
Yeah. but because they can anticipate it, because everything is built to be flooded out down there in Riverside Park. The lights, the way everything is all designed, the boathouse.
Because they know that it's going to be flooded out.
Yeah.
But sometimes that water is so high.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's at the top of the trees. I said, it can't be way up there because it would kind of flow over.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can only see the top of the trees.
Well, the dike system that we have to prevent the flooding, and we have the pumping stations, these things work seamlessly in the background without our knowledge. But this is a serious time. And, that dike, the dike that goes around the airport, someone talk about making it a marina. And let me stop. Yeah.
Well, good fights help keep us alert.
That's true.
Good fights keep us alert.
That's
Without
true.
them, where would we be?
That's true. That is true. It's a constant.
Everybody is necessary.
Everybody
is necessary.
Yeah.
So
everyone's necessary.
Yeah,
even Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam Cephas.
Oh, even Sam. Oh goodness.
Yeah. I'm messing with him because he put a comment here. That's it, door to door. I love it. He put a comment there. I'm just messing with Sam. Sam, now Sam brings me a chocolate cake.
I know you told me the best chocolate cake you ever ate.
Folk think I'm kidding. The best chocolate cake on the planet comes from Costco. Costco's. With it's a chocolate cake with chocolate mousse inside filling, and it's you can't possibly eat
I have
a whole cake by yourself. The cake must weigh at least 5 pounds. I mean, the cake is heavy. It's a big chocolate cake. And you as a human being, you can't consume that much chocolate cake. But it's so good you don't want to share it with anybody. I'm greedy, I don't share food. I'm very that's one a fault I have. I don't like to share food. My one of my daughters is like that. 7 is like that too. I can't.
You can afford that. You were blessed with a body that does not get big.
Yeah, I don't have. I have a thin gene. I don't have the big gene. I have a thin gene. No matter what I do, I can't. In fact, yesterday, we were at Metzner Center for the airport meeting, and two of the people there had asked me, "Are you eating okay? You're eating. You're awful thin. Are you okay? You eating?" I said, "Yeah. I was told you can't be too tall or too skinny." That's what they told me. But, not them, but that's what people tell me. Because I feel thin sometimes. They says, "Oh, yeah, right, stop. You can't be too thin." I'm not as skinny as Richard Blumenthal.
Well, I see him on television, but my son tells me he's very thin in person.
He's very thin in person. You want to see something frightening, you should see him in a bathing suit.
Well, I thought you were the thinnest man I ever saw, but you are not. You are not. I've seen thinner people than you. But I thought, I have a history, a lifetime of, I'm too fat, dieting.
Mm-hmm.
When my father is a big man, his brothers were husky people. My mother's people were shorter but husky people. And I'm saying, can I ever get thin? Well, I tried, but it was a tiring thing to do. I wish I could just eat like you. But if I ate like you, I'd be big as a house. I could not possibly do that.
Well, I generally though only eat one. Well, I eat one meal a day.
Yeah,
I can get into snacks, but I'm busy, and so I don't really. I like staying busy, but I will. But at the end of the day, I eat.
There's nothing wrong with eating one meal a day. They say you don't really need to eat 3 meals a day. That, eat your breakfast or eat your lunch, or I eat 1 meal a day for a long time. I didn't even notice that I was doing that, and I felt okay all day. 3 meals a day is a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 meal a day.
Eating takes up so much time. But people enjoy a good meal.
Yes.
They just, oh my God, the machinations and all of them. They got to go out to the restaurant. They got to sit down. They got to sit you in a place. They got to bring the food.
I know a person.
Menu. Oh my goodness.
Who I would just sit there and watch her eat. I loved watching her eat. It was just.
She enjoys her food.
She enjoyed it so much that I would sit there and watch her just eat, and her face would light up, and she would eat. I said, "Wow, does she enjoy? Does she enjoy?" But some people just enjoy that.
Now it is. I concur. I agree. There is a certain amount of shared joy watching someone who really enjoys consuming food. I don't mean just consuming, but you could tell these people, this is serious. It's like someone listening to good music.
Yes.
They enjoy good food. They say, "Oh, this is nice. This is real nice. The way they did these potatoes are nice. It's not heavy on. I mean, they'll break down what's in the food, how it was seasoned, the way it was, and you can see them. They get ready. This is good. This looks good. Nice. Can you get me a little? I mean,
do you think that those food connoisseurs are kind of like that? Who go
foodies? People are serious about food.
Go to restaurants and
yes,
test their food.
I know some people who are very, 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 very serious about food, and then this is not a joke to them. They take their food very seriously. Very seriously. And there's some places, of course, they would never even think or dream to go.
I was just going to say that.
Beneath them
to go.
In terms of their palate.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Can't go there.
We're not. No, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. We're not doing that. No.
Let's go over here. Oh, no. We can't do that. That place, blah, 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 blah. Their food is this, their food is that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now my wife, she enjoys food, but I don't think there's a restaurant around that she hasn't been to. Because, she was in the whole, I call it semi-corporate here in Hartford, so they do lunch.
Yes.
And so, you eat everywhere. And you've been in every restaurant all over the region.
I think that is nice. I love going to restaurants, but when I don't like, some people say, "Oh, no, you can't go there." My husband loves a certain restaurant, food place in Weathersfield, and most of my people that I know won't go there.
And see, my idea of restauranting is campus pizza, Wilson, Harry's Bishop's Corner, pizza joints.
Oh, you do.
Burger joint.
I went to here we go around the Mayberry Melberry's in Manchester, downtown Manchester. Have you ever been there? Well, it was crowded in the afternoon, and they told me in the evening you couldn't even get in there. So I took home a large pizza from there, and with a very, very, very thin crust, very, very thin crust. And my family didn't like it at all. It cost me a fortune. I think it's a fortune. I think it cost me about $30 for this big pizza. It was heavy, but it was soggy.
Oh, that's
when I got home, it had so much stuff on it. It was soggy. But
see, pizza's funny.
It was supposed to be a good place.
Pizza's funny. Now, of course, our big pizza place was Harry's, the original Harry's. But they retired, and then that's it, done. But Harry's Bishop's Corner has become the alternate. They have a great chicken parm and a great meatball. But I'm not a big fan of their pizza. But, the lady of the house, which would be Seven Grace, my 13-year-old daughter, who runs everything, every Saturday we have pizza. We've had pizza every Saturday as long as I can remember. And to not have pizza on a Saturday requires a big time negotiation. She's a negotiator. My daughter. She's been negotiating for years. So we have to negotiate a deal with her not to have pizza on a Saturday. It's got to be an alternate day, Friday, Sunday, 2 pizzas following week, something like that. But you know who has a good pizza? Underrated. First and Last.
First and Last?
First and Last. Up Maple Avenue, right before you get to the park, Goodwin Park.
Oh, really?
They have a fabulous pizza. The problem with their pizza is you really need to eat the pizza there. You can't get a First and Last pizza and then bring it home.
Why?
Because it's not the same. It is a shelf life. This is the kind of pizza you have to eat right out the oven.
Oh, because it doesn't taste as good?
Well, once the pizza starts to cool down, it loses the punch that it has. Its greatness diminishes.
Like McDonald's fries, don't eat them cold.
Oh yeah, McDonald's fries die and they're dead and. They're dead in like 3 minutes.
They taste good when they're hot, but don't let them get cold.
Yeah. No. Now, so some foods need to be eaten there. So I very rarely get to eat a First and Last pizza because in order to eat it, you got to go there. And so I tried to make First and Last a replacement, but my daughter said no. So. That make me want to go to. I think I'm gonna go to First and Last.
Saturday.
Soon. I may have to go by myself. I don't like to go out to eat by myself. I have strange. I have a couple of strange quirks,
No, I mean it's not as much
fun. When you go, I don't. To me, the loneliest. This is strictly in Stan's head. This does not exist outside of my head. But in my head, the loneliest person in the world is a person eating by themselves.
Really?
Yeah. So clearly that's not the case because there's a lot of people who eat by themselves every day at a restaurant. But I guess that's me. So maybe it's an internal thing where if I'm eating by myself, I'm alone. So I project that on every other person I see. Eating by themselves.
I do not mind eating by myself in a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I gotta have something to do. I'm not gonna just sit there and eat. I gotta have something to do. So I'll probably have a pen and pencil or I'll have a book.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind. It's very relaxing to me. I don't mind being by myself. And maybe that's because I'm hardly ever by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Being by myself is okay.
I like to be by myself. As much as I am with people all the time, I really do like
To be.
being by myself, except for when I'm eating out.
Well, you know, it's always nice to have good company.
Well, there's.
I have to say that. It's always nice to have good company.
Good
You know,
company, yeah.
not conversations. I like conversations. So it's good to have someone to conversate with. I had a friend who we went out every Wednesday, and we went to Denny's up on Flatbush. Sometimes they have a good staff, and sometimes they don't.
I haven't been to Denny's on Flatbush in almost forever.
But they had a total change of staff, and the food went.
Oh, down.
Woo! I said, and I brought somebody there. I was really embarrassed.
Oh, that bad?
It was that bad. And so I have not been back there in several years.
Wow.
I'm sure that's changed because I did have dishes before that I really enjoyed, but
I can't remember the last time I was at a Denny's. Texas Roadhouse.
that didn't stay but a minute.
Well,
At
no. You go to the
Flatbush.
one in Manchester.
Oh, out of Manchester?
Yeah. The one in Texas Roadhouse on Flatbush was really nice until you went there and it was just closed. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
What happened? I
What?
never
What?
understood what
Employees
happened.
standing
to that.
outside. I mean, they just like done. Don't tell nobody. Let's just close the store. Call you up at home, I guess.
And they had a lot of employees.
Oh yeah, they moved the store to Manchester, Buckland Hills.
Oh, do they do a good business?
Texas Roadhouse? Oh yeah.
Really? They must not have done a very good business.
Oh, we've gone to Texas Roadhouse, and the last time we went to Texas Roadhouse, we went right in. And I don't feel bad talking about going to Texas Roadhouse because every time I've ever gone there, I see lots of people from Hartford. Some places you have to be careful about saying where you go because you eating out of the city, you shopping out of the city. Folk get sensitive.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That sensitive?
Oh yeah. However, Texas Roadhouse is not that kind of place. So you go to Texas Roadhouse. Last time we went there, we got out of the car and went and sat down. The time before that, we went to Texas Roadhouse. The wait was long enough. I'm not exaggerating. That we went to the mall. We went to the mall, shopped, came back, and then got seated. The wait was an hour and 20 minutes.
And you signed in
Yes.
and came back an hour and something, and they had not.
Hour and 20 minutes. The wait time was an hour and 20 minutes. So, yeah, they're very, and particularly if you go like on a Friday night, you're done. Yeah.
Did not know
It's
that. I
crowded.
didn't even know where they were.
Yeah, they're in Buckland Hills up by the theater, by the movie theater.
Oh, up that hill?
Mm-hmm.
Up the hill?
Up on the top of there's like a cliff.
Yeah. Oh, I know it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you're giving me ideas, Sam.
Yeah. And if you go up on the top of the hill and you're waiting around, you can look down on Sonic. You can look down on the lower restaurants.
I've never been in Sonic either. I've never been there.
Yeah, Sonic.
Is that a good place?
Yeah.
It's an ice cream place, isn't it?
Fast food.
Fast food.
Mm-hmm. Fast food. Someone says here, Stan, I used to think that way per eating out alone until I tried it.
Then she said, wow, this is great.
Yeah, the one time, the worst nightmare, not one nightmare. I'll never forget the time when, now, you know who has the best pancakes?
I don't know. I only know IHOP.
No. I'm sorry, IHOP pancakes. In my never to be humble opinion, just my opinion, I'm not trying to malign IHOP, that they're the worst pancakes.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't like their pancakes. The best pancakes are at Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel pancakes are phenomenal. I went to eat alone once at Cracker Barrel.
I haven't been there.
And I ordered the pancakes, and I got the pancakes for free.
That's why they tasted so good.
No, I fell asleep. I'm sitting there by myself. I fell asleep at the table. It's horrible. Now, I've been known to fall asleep at the table here at the house. It's shameful. I said, you won't even wake. You just let me sit there, sleep. Wake your father up or your husband. You were asleep, so just let you sleep. So I was at the Cracker Barrel. I fell asleep. I guess they felt bad because it gave the appearances. I've been waiting so long. I fell asleep. The pancakes were on us, sir. Don't worry about it. So but I fell asleep. This was several years ago. So maybe there's a subconscious fear of falling asleep at the table by yourself. No one to nudge you. You're drifting.
Oh gosh, when you're by yourself, there's so many things to look at. You look at the people, the waiters, and I just find it. I find it fun. And then you can open your book if you want to. Or I always, I travel with. Have book will travel.
Have books. Books or book?
Books. And that, I'm trying to use
mobile library.
I'm trying to use my phone, like the Kindle, to read, but it's not a book. It's just not. I think part of the pleasure is just holding the book.
Feeling
the pages.
In your hands.
So a Kindle, unless I'm just searching for information, is not fun to have. So, like in my pocketbook, there's always a book in my car or somewhere that I'm reading.
You're a reader. My wife is a reader.
And I'm not a particularly fast reader, but I like to read. I like to feel the pages. I read books that I didn't even know what they were really saying, but I liked, like the first time I read Eric Fromm, I didn't know what that man was saying, but the words and how they were put together, and I just had this wonderful feeling that this is wonderful, and he is really saying something wonderful. And after years, I of course read it several times as I got older, because I was only a teenager. I got to understand it. Now, if I pick up a book of Freud, I said, even as a teen, is this a crazy man?
Sigmund Freud was crazy.
I said, is this a crazy man? Even though I didn't quite understand everything he was saying, he didn't. His personality in the book. I'm saying this.
Is this a book about him or by him?
No, by him.
Okay.
This is a book by him. It probably said a little of him, and I just, and then I read a book. Now, you have to understand, I don't always understand all these psychologists and all these people, but I like the way they write. Now, like Carl Jung, Jungians, I loved him immediately. I said, wow. I said, I like this guy. So I get sort of personalities out of different books. Or books that people write in a hurry to make money. I can't read those books.
I'll see, and you can. Clearly you can look at that. You can read that. Look at the book, read it, and say this is just a money grab.
Yeah.
There's no. It's just written by AI.
Yeah, I don't like those. When I get that feeling that the sensationalism in the book and all of that. And I said, this person is, throw that book away.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there wasn't very many of them in my bookstore. I said, if I don't like you, you don't come in. If I don't like you, you just don't come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get those kind of books. So clearly, yes, I'm a book person, and I will carry them as heavy as they are. I'll carry them everywhere.
Wow. Well, it's been my observation that people that love to read always have a book, and they can get lost in the book. And it's been explained to me because I love watching movies. They've explained to me it's better than watching a movie.
Oh yeah.
Because you dive into it. And they said, and really, once you start reading them more and more and more, and you get up to a pretty good pace, it's not much longer than reading. It's a good book.
Yeah.
Telling the story is not that much longer than watching a movie.
Right.
If you're gonna you could sit down and watch a movie, you could sit down and read a book and
pick it up anytime you want to, and
right.
set it down anytime you want
hit
to.
the pause button, go do something, come back.
Yep, that's right. That's how I do history books.
Mm-hmm.
Afro-American history, and Native American history. I can never just sit down for hours and read those books because I'll be getting too upset.
Mm-hmm.
So I read a little bit, and then I put it down. I may put it down for a year before I pick that book up again because I get so upset. Native American books.
Mm-hmm.
If I get to page 50, that would be a very good read.
Too hard. Too rough.
Too rough, and it's too hard for me to read through those.
To
books.
process the atrocities and.
Yes. I mean, I could read Afro-American history. I could read it up to a point. I can't read Native American books even up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It's just too hard that people have, a human being has treated other human beings like that.
It's horrible what human beings do to one another.
I just can't. That's why when I'm looking at television, I was down doing laundry, turned on television. I turned on one station. A bunch of people were killing somebody. I turned to another station, and there was another kind of violent thing. I turned to the third station, which was, to me, the worst station. It was the Joker. Mm-hmm. That young man played that Joker so well.
The movie, The Joker?
Yes.
That's like, you watch that movie, and you kind of get a semi-glimpse into the life of someone who is insane.
Yeah, well, he killed himself, so he's, in real life. But he was doing an interview, and I saw the Joker. I'm waiting for what's his name?
De Niro?
No, to play the Joker the first time. Oh gosh, I forget his name. But he was kind of a funny kind of evil person. But
now, when you say the first time, you talking about the original Batman?
Yeah, Batman. In the movie.
Oh, okay, the movie. Okay, all right.
So I'm looking at this guy sitting there, and he really, he's kind of smiling, and someone's interviewing me. He just picks the gun up and shoots the guy in the head, and then he goes dancing around and carrying it. Oh, I said, oh my God! And the audience is shocked, and he's just doing his dance and going. I said, "Oh God, turn it off, turn it off."
Yeah, that's a very interesting.
And he looked crazy. He acted crazy. It was not a joke. He was crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the Joker that I was used to seeing. It was a crazy man Joker.
Yeah.
I would not ever go see that. I wouldn't see that movie for anything in the world.
Well, a lot of the movies now are just pure violence. And it's interesting that we live in a land that talks about gun violence. And yet the movies and the TV shows that are the most popular that people watch
are
is
all
just
violent.
a glorification of violence. It's like it's violence porn. It's just it's gratuitous violence for no reason other than the sensationalism and the visual impact and psychological impact of taking the life of somebody in the most heinous
And they got women
ways.
do it. I mean, it used to be basically men, but nowadays women
Yeah.
flipping people over their backs and holding that gun and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, oh my God! I said, turn off the TV.
It's like it's a race. It's a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom. Now, I'll think. Excuse me. I'll think that they're really serious about gun violence when Congress and folk like Chris Murphy actually try to move legislation. And you're going to get some pushback because of free speech. I'm a big free speech advocate, and I'm a free speech absolutist. So, but I think that until you start hearing legislation about the display of violence on the screen in terms of stopping it,
It's got
no one is serious.
No.
Because the gun is the star of almost every motion picture television project stars the gun, and then the supporting cast are human beings. But they all have guns. The Matrix has guns. Star Wars over there poster has guns. What else do I have?
And they're more and more violent. And
Oh yeah, and just like John Wick 4. Well, all of the John Wicks, but John Wick 4 is it's ridiculously violent. It's like they've turned violence into a comedy.
Oh.
It's just non-stop. You don't have the physical stamina, strength, or anything to kill that many people you'd be exhausted. It's just ridiculous.
And no police. There's no police around while you're shooting all these people and
No.
shooting up the street and bumping cars against each other and all. There's absolutely no police. If you can teach children with TV and their lessons, a language, their math, you mean to tell me that all that violence, they're not learning anything?
They are learning something.
So, they say, oh, but that's not real. I said, hey, we put all this stuff on television to teach children, and you think all this violence is not teaching them something?
Well, people say it's not real because I guess either they're trying to be in a state, they're either in a state of denial or they're downplaying the effect of what it does is it dehumanizes people, and it says that life is of no value. And it also teaches people that if you're going to have a conflict with someone, the best way to resolve it is to kill them. That's all of this is about conflict, chaos, so the best way you're being taught the best way to deal with any conflict is to neutralize the conflict and eliminate the source
And
thereof.
we're seeing it in real life.
You see it you see it in real life, and it's in every sphere or sector. So in the political arena, the ideas that champion thoughts, notions, ways of doing things, you don't debate those at a critical level. You neutralize or demonize the opponent.
Right.
So there's no real critical, this is what I believe, and let's exchange these ideas in the marketplace of thought, and then the people who think this is a better way of doing it will gravitate to that. But it's an assassination of character or the person. And so everything is done that way. people on the job, they undermine or sabotage somebody's work. Young people shooting at one another, drive-bys. So the whole society has come to a place where we resolve conflict, not through transformation or conflict resolution, but we resolve conflict through termination. We terminate the source of the conflict.
No matter what kind of conflict it is.
No matter what kind of conflict it is.
And
so,
yep.
Yeah. And that's it seems like that's the first option. If that fails, then maybe we'll talk.
Well, there is no balance between good and evil. There is no balance between good and evil.
Evil's winning.
You see the evil, you see the negative, and there's no good.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, we went to school and there was good and it was bad. There was evil.
Mm-hmm.
We came to school and the first thing we did when we got to our desk and we all calmed down, the first thing we did was pray and say the pledge allegiance to the flag. Those are the first things you did when you went to school. That was the beginning of your day.
Well, the day started out there, and of course there are many who have nothing but disdain for the Pledge of Allegiance, and there are those who totally reject the idea, the notion of prayer. Now, even if you don't like them, you start off with a standard.
Yes.
And the standard, see,
they took it away,
the
but they didn't
standard
replace
is you gotta have a starting point. Even if you don't like the standard, at least your reference is here. So you can move this way from the standard, or you can move that way from the standard, but the standard's there. Let us set the standard. There's something greater than all of us that we have to be accountable to, in the sense of a greater power and a set of laws to govern human beings. So the country, pledge allegiance to the flag. So the standard of your national laws and spiritual laws. Now, if you want to change those, that's fair. Let's change and let's move the standard. But they get rid of the standard. Now there's no boundaries. Anything goes. And before long, everything goes. And everything tends to go down. It's a race to the bottom. Even the people who are allied with one another to remove this become the enemies of each other in the end. Because once you do that, self is the only thing that matters. And anything then that gets in the way of self is a threat or a conflict. So you remove the conflict. People act like things have gotten worse. It's my contention that they have stayed the same. Nothing's changed. Adam's and Eve's two sons, one of them killed the other. I mean, they act like this is something new. Cain killed Abel.
It's new because they don't see the other side. There's no other side. There's just that.
Mm-hmm.
There's just who sees that? When children go to school, when you go to work, who sees the other side of that? Who no what? I mean, when you look on television, you turn one unless you go to PBS or something and see some nature thing or a play or something.
Mm-hmm.
But what else is there?
Now, PBS has a fair share of murder.
Yes.
Midsummer Murders. I mean,
Yes, I know.
They murdered the British way.
Yes, they murdered the British.
The Abbey murders and the Abbey. So everything is all everywhere you go. It doesn't matter the culture or the reason or the season. It's usually someone taking someone else's life, and then we discover why. Because murder, killing somebody is a recognized standard of humanity. People don't talk about it, but folk is murderous.
No more come to the school. Joey and Sam had a fight in the schoolyard, and were calling their parents, and they're both sitting in the principal's office with black eyes, and so that now they have to talk this out because they had
Joey's not throwing Joey's not throwing hands. Joey's shooting people. Shoot up the whole-
Absolutely, that's right. No fights anymore. It's just, So where do those who want to make a difference? You have to do it, I guess, one by one.
You do it one by one.
Because I don't see a difference.
I think the difference has to start with each individual, and we circle back around. I used to hate that phrase, circle back. Ugh.
And encourage people to use their minds to think.
There it is.
You
can't have a lazy mind.
You cannot have a lazy mind. We cannot afford you to have a lazy mind and just take in, and take out without thinking about the information that's going in your head, because you are the only one in charge of that.
Yep.
You are the only one in charge of that. And if you just sit there, I have had lazy years where I just didn't want anything to do with anything. I just want to go home. I don't want to do this and I want to do that. I don't want to have to deal with certain things. But I found that is not the way to live, and your life gets more complicated and worse, like you said, a race down, when you don't think. And if you don't think, and so today you decide, now I'm going to think, it's going to take some time for your mind to get used to thinking. Yeah. It's not going to be an easy task for you to automatically start thinking, because it's not going to be. You are going to have to work at that. Yeah. You are going to have to work at thinking, because, you gotta. Laziness wants to stay there.
Yes.
Laziness wants to stay there. It doesn't want to think. So, just remember that when you start turning those wheels.
You gotta say no. You got to say no to the lazy mind. Stick and Stay will be right back.
J. Stan McCauley says before he would ask for your vote for mayor, he wants you to know who he is, what he stands for, and how he plans to lead Hartford forward.
Dear Hartford Democratic Town Committee, I enthusiastically seek your endorsement for mayor of the city of Hartford. I believe I have the requisite experience and skill set needed to advance us toward a better Hartford. Hartford is at the crossroads. It is teetering on a precipice of falling into complete neighborhood and social decline. We see the symptoms: lack of civility, littering, reckless driving, gun violence, low voter turnout, citizen apathy, to name a few. Just going back to business as usual wouldn't be enough to prevent more of the same. We need to create breakthrough community momentum for all our kids. We need to find ways to deal constructively with the issues that affect us all. We need strong communities and strong people. This means investing in strategies that build community stability and resilience. The change we seek is best undertaken by residents hand in hand, as opposed to waiting for some outside force to change their circumstances. Sustaining progress requires residents to be committed to the vision for the city and feel a personal connection to making it work. By moving from the mindset of change being done for to change being done with means we must fundamentally realign our priorities in city governance. As an accomplished nonprofit leader, business owner, convener, and community builder, I have been privileged to contribute to the growth of Hartford. As a knowledgeable observer and translator of municipal government, having videotaped hundreds of mayoral, council, and school board meetings for almost 3 decades, as a documentarian and interviewer of every Hartford mayor since Georgia Thinson, I have been part of fine-grained community advocacy in all 17 Hartford neighborhoods, with a grassroots awareness few can rival. My experience in community advocacy has taught me valuable lessons in leadership, including the power of organizing constituencies, offering a compelling vision, and promoting the inclusion and well-being of all residents. Hartford will thrive with a mayor with diverse skills, a depth of knowledge of city issues and relationships with the people, so together, we can collaborate, innovate, take on challenges, and create opportunities as one Hartford. I believe I have that unique combination of talents and experiences that make for an excellent 68th mayor of the city of Hartford. I thank you for taking the time to consider me as a mayoral candidate and looking forward to our conversation.
How do you define evil? Is evil the pedophile school administrator or taxation without representation? Is it the gatekeeping community leaders who sell out the very people they were elected to fight for? Or is evil the politician that puts out lies and takes in cash? However you may classify evil, having to choose the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. Nowhere does this rule apply more than during an election for mayor. Choosing a candidate who is the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. No wonder so many people don't vote. It's time for the constituents to flip the script and vote for a mayor you can trust. My name is Jason McCauley. I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor for the city of Hartford. I, like you, am an independent thinker. So let's sit down and talk about my path to victory and why my 5-point plan for Hartford will work. Stop listening to the uninformed evil interests that tell you I can't win. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience. Vote for the name you trust and know. Vote McCauley for mayor. I love this song. It's such a happy song. I think like this is the happy way to start the day. So this is always our closing theme song. Toe dance for a baby.
Full of what?
Toe dance for a baby.
I wish I had taken the xylophone. Because I think I really could have played that. Instead of the accordion. I probably wouldn't have done anything.
A jazz accordion.
Is there such thing?
Cleo Duke-Wright tonight plays jazz on the accordion at the Black Eye Sally's.
They have an accordion in Black
No,
Eye?
I'm just messing. I'm just playing.
You just...
All right. Well, Miss Cleo, we're out of time.
Oh, again.
Yeah, we're out of time. So.
We're out of time. But I enjoyed today. It looks like it's going to rain outside.
Yeah, it was raining real hard for a couple minutes there. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't rain throughout the jazz thing. Hopefully, maybe it'll get all around. Yeah, I'm looking at the camera here. Yeah. Hopefully, the jazz festival will, it'll stop raining by the time jazz hits.
I hope nobody can sit on the grass. So
bring a chair, lawn chair, some tarp, and a blanket.
I would really like to go, but like I said, I would like to go alone. Put my chair on
there
my
you go.
back and just maybe I could
just run out real quick. I'm gonna go out real quick. I'll be back about an hour or two.
Really? Are you gonna be back in an hour or two? No, you're not.
Right. And then go down. Well, I stopped by the jazz festival, and next thing I knew, it was 9:00.
But I don't usually get a telephone call if I'm staying out late. Every once in a while, if I'm too late, someone will call me. But not usually. They kind of figure out maybe she needs that time. And when I get back home, they say, "Did you have a good time?" I said, "Yeah, I had a really nice time."
All right, my friends, our time together has come to an end. We're going to roll on out of here. You all have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you out there, out and about somewhere around the city. And, do something good for yourself, family, and friends. So, Miss Cleo, thanks. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you. And glad to be here.
All right.
Thank the viewers, too.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you for coming and joining us at this time.
Yeah, and spend a little time with us, And remember, you can always put your comments in the chat, Part of the conversation is with you all, too. All right, so we'll see you next time. You all have a great rest of your day. And stick and stay. We're having you could join the press conference that we had earlier in the week. Ciao, ciao.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are here to discuss a very important topic. I'm going to bring up a few speakers to address the issue of citywide adult literacy, a plan that you'll hear from mayoral candidate Stan McCauley talk more about this morning. But before Stan comes to the mic, we have some community voices that we are also going to hear from this morning. So I want to bring up Gwyneth Douglas to say a few words on the topic of adult literacy.
Good morning, everyone. This is such a glorious and historical day, and I am so honored to be a part of it. And I have a few words that I would like to say before our elect mayor, pre-elect mayor, Stan McCauley comes forth. And it's on the literacy program. What I'd like to talk about is I agree totally on the decline and the hardships, the troubles that our city, our nation capital, faces on a daily basis, especially to people who are come to this country, who are from other places and do not understand the dialect, the language. There are language barriers. I am an educator. I'm an educator in the school system, retired, and I'm also an educator and also group homes and ministries. So we come together to partner with him. But what I wanted to say really quickly is that whatever we can do to stop this type, I call it a parasite, an educational reading literacy parasite. Why? Because as I did my research, I found out we have all these wonderful programs, so we say, that are building up. But if we don't build up this economy the way that we're supposed to, it's good to look nice on paper. But we all must join hands and pull it in just a little harder, just a little closer. For instance, starting from ages 4 to 12 years old, there are 5 or several different programs that they attest that work for Connecticut. You have the Reading in 100. You have the one that's called the X reading program. You have so many different programs. They even have the ESL, which is English as a secondary language for children who coming from a country into ours. Why aren't these programs effective? Where is the breakdown? Now, we all know that it starts from in the home and out. But I heard when I was just a little girl at Arsenal School that it takes a village. I am a native of Connecticut, a native of Hartford, Connecticut. I attended the Arsenal School. And if it was being said back then that it takes a village, then we must. I stand with J. Stan McCauley. I almost called him doctor. I stand with his wife because I don't split staff. I stand with his children. I stand here on the steps of City Hall to let everyone know and let the voice be heard. I am standing with McCauley. Why? Because one hand reaches one, catches one, love one. What we need now is just not love, sweet love, but we need real love. Real love for education and reading the right way. So let us put our foot, a pedal to the metal, and let's get this done. God bless you. I thank you, and have a great day.
Adult literacy is a root cause issue facing many adults in the city of Hartford. Adults that I would say have been failed twice. They've been failed first by the educational system and a lack of resources, but then they find themselves failed again in a city that doesn't support them adequately to give them what they need in order to attain jobs, to participate in our democracy. So this is may not be a splashy campaign issue. Some may not find it to be the top issue, but it is a root cause issue. And oftentimes, it's referred to as a silent crisis because we don't want to speak to it. We don't want to address it in a way that political winds may change and come forward. But here's an issue that would impact so many lives in the city. It is an issue that Stan has heard, being so close and tethered to the voices of the community. It is an issue he has heard time and time again. So, without further ado, I want to bring Stan forward to address his citywide adult literacy plan.
All right, we're here today to talk about this growing crisis that has been here for some time. It's like under the current, if you will. And you hear people talk about economic development. You hear people talking about jobs in the community. But the fact of the matter is, depending upon the statistics, 41 to 61% of the citizens in Hartford, adults, men and women, are functionally illiterate. Now you may ask yourself, well, what does functionally illiterate mean? Well, think of it in terms of an ATM machine. That means that 61% of the adults in this city can't read an ATM machine. And I want you to understand the impact of that. It impacts parents when it comes to attending their children's schools and getting parent involvement. If the parents feel intimidated, which the schools too often intimidate parents that want to be actively engaged in their children's education, and they wonder why they can't get parents to come in and participate. But it goes even deeper than that. one of the things that really plagues the city of Hartford is the political apathy. Now think about this. If you can't read an ATM machine, you also can't read about your candidates. You can't read about their platforms. You can't read about their programs. You can't do the research. So you wind up hearing what people say, and it becomes a he said, she said, instead of being engaged and informed. So my administration wants to put forth effort to help bridge this gap, close what we're calling the literacy gap. We're making it our 6th priority in our path to impact. And when I talk about path to impact, I'm talking about how does the action impact the intended individual. You're talking about education, you're talking about giving teachers a raise. Well, how does that raise impact the student? We know there's a direct impact for the teacher and for the teacher's family, but what's the impact on the student? All too often our students are left behind. And when they're left behind, they wind up being, hopefully at the 3rd grade reading level. That's where they plan the future for prisons to be built. Well, we see the impact of a failed education system in the adults who attended that education system not being able to read. So this becomes very, very critical. So we're challenging the adults in this city that are English speakers to become functionally literate. Now, I'm one of those people that believe in leading by example. Now, I am functionally literate when it comes to English. I can read, I can write. But you know what I'm totally illiterate in? The dominant language of the city, Spanish. Now, we live in a city where the dominant language is Spanish, and the people that are running for office aren't fluent in that language. So I'm putting forth the challenge that I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to become conversationally literate in Spanish. I'm going to, in the next 4 years, learn how to speak the dominant language. So if I can learn a language I don't know, I know that our English-speaking people can become functionally literate in the language that is their primary language. All right? Hartford should be a dual language city. So we're calling this the Dual Language City Challenge. There are 76 different ethnic groups in this city. This is an international city, and it should be reflected by the languages that you have here and the cultural diversity that you have here. And so when we talk about economic development, understand that economic development can't happen until you have human development, and human development can't happen until you can read and write the primary language. And we can't have cultural diversity and understanding if we don't understand one another and respect the cultural differences that we have here in Hartford. So part of what we want to do in the McCauley administration is open up our schools, unlock those resources so that they are open after school. They should be open from sun up to sundown, from 8 to 8. Our schools should be open. They should become the primary community centers. Parks and recreation should be in every single school. And when school ends for the students, it should begin for the adults. And so we're going to be putting learning centers where adults can become functionally literate in this city. So that's the challenge. We're going to challenge you to go to our website, McCauleyforMayor.com. Click on the path to impact and find out all there is to know about our complete 6-point plan to realign Hartford's priorities, and more importantly, our 6th priority, which we're introducing today, to close the literacy gap in the city of Hartford.
We won't keep you long, but we do want to bring one other voice to you this morning. An honored elder, I would say, a community voice that has been challenging the systems, fighting for the people, and recognizing the gaps and the underserved. Cacique.
All right, family, peace. It's really good to be here today. I think it's, for me, it's a special day because what I would ask the people that are listening to us today is, when was the last time one of these politicians ever came to you with an issue with conscience? You can't recall that because they don't. So I'm happy that Stan has taken on this humongous task to bring, people right where they need to be, because as I understand it, the system a lot of times keeps us in that survival mode. And when you're in the surviving mode, you can't move to the next level, which is the thriving mode. When you're surviving, you can't thrive. So I think that Stan and Gwen said a lot of important things today. And one of the things that I would say is that if you can't read your children's report card. You can't help them with their homework. You can't read information about your health. So the reason that I asked that question in the beginning is because this is an issue that is plaguing our community, and you haven't heard anyone, including the superintendent, talk about literacy and what they're doing to bring it up, not just for our kids to bring them where they're supposed to be at, but for the adults in this city. So Stan, once again, brother, you hit the nail on the head. That is a super important issue that's going to change the way that we live. The way that people live is going to raise their access to different jobs, better jobs. You can get your license now. If you can't read, you can get your license. So it's a lot of things that literacy covers, and I want to thank you for that. And I hope that, I just want to say one more thing. Stan's van is coming to Wyndham Street on Thursday at 6:30. It's for that neighborhood, but anybody in the city of Hartford is welcome to come. It's going to be on Wyndham Street, July 11th at 6:30, and all are welcome. Thank you so much. Peace.
Every bad political decision is made by a politician elected to office. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, just remember this. There are people sitting with politicians in a back room making deals about your future, making policies about your children, making decisions about your neighborhood. To them, you are just a vote. You are not their cause. You are just a vote. Elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, you are actually voting to keep these people in power to work against you. Now more than ever, you need to make your vote count. It's time to clear the air and vote for a mayor that is unbought, unbossed, trusted, and accountable to you, the constituent. My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for the name you trust and know. Vote J. Stan McCauley for mayor. All right, so Wyndham Street, July the 13th. The mobile campaign office will be at Wyndham Street. 12 Wyndham Street. And also, if you're not doing anything, you want to join us for our virtual town hall. That'll be this Friday at 6 o'clock. There it is. This Friday at 6 o'clock. It's a virtual town hall. You can check out our website for more information. Thank you very much for joining us.